So today we're going to learn to do a self-portrait that looks really real. When you were a little kid, like kindergartners, you probably drew a picture of yourself or somebody that looked sort of like this. Doesn't look very real, does it? Lots of reasons why this is wrong or what's wrong with this. But today I want to show you how to do a self-portrait that looks more real, like this one that I did of myself. So we're going to start out by making the shape of our heads, our faces. And you know, what you saw was wrong with this was that it's super round. Nobody has a round face like a moon. Most of us have the shape of our head is oval. So something like that, or some of us have a little bit squarer jaw, so maybe it's a little more like that, but not round. Now I'm going to be using this pen just so that you can see it, but you are going to use your pencils. So I want you to take your pencil really loosely, hold it really loosely, and just let your arm be loose and kind of go around and around till you have kind of an oval shape like this. And you're going to leave some space at the bottom like I did, about that much space. And that's going to be where we put in the neck and the shoulders for your self-portrait that you're later going to animate. It's going to become your avatar, so you want it to look really like you. Now, the first thing I want you to know about the proportions of the human face, and this is a wonderful fact, is that no matter whether we're tall or short or dark or light or fat or skinny, we all have these proportions. And that means how one part or one feature of the face is placed compared to other features. And so all human faces are symmetrical. And you probably know what that means, that they're kind of the same on both sides, top and bottom, not like this one, not with the eyes way at the top. So what we know about the human face, and you're going to be able to check this out for yourself, is that it's proportional, it's symmetrical from side to side and from top to bottom. So the first thing we're going to do is very lightly with your pencil, just draw a straight line right down the middle of your head shape, and another one across horizontally in the middle of your head shape. So now you have something that looks like this. Now you notice that in the kindergartner drawing, the eyes are way up at the top of the head. And that's because that's how we experience our sight. We kind of see out of our eyes. We don't see the top of our heads. We just see what's below our eyes. So we think that our eyes are at the top. They're actually not, and it's a good thing they're not. They're right in the middle of this bony skull where they're really protected. So the eyes, we're going to draw in an eye shape that is really the eye socket right around the middle, and the same space on the other side. So it looks something like that, real light. Now here's where you can check this out for yourself. If you put your thumb on the side of your eye, like I'm doing, and then reach for the top of your head, you get that measurement. Good, like that. Now hold that measurement and just turn it around. And where does that finger come out? Kind of at the bottom of your chin, right? And that's proving to you that your eyes are in the middle of your skull, and they're protected by bones around them. So what we've just drawn is not the eyes, but the eye socket. So now we want to finish those into eyes. And here's where you want to look in your mirror and see what shape your eyes are. Some of us have narrow eyes, like that. Some of us have bigger overlap, maybe like that. So you want to look and see what shape your eyes are. And now what you want to do after you look in the mirror is draw in the lids. So are they narrow or wide? And it's going to look something like this. So now we have the eyelid and the eyelid pouch beneath. And now we want to put in the pupils of the eyes, the center of the eyes. What's important for you to know is that, I'm going to draw this big so you can see it, is that we never see the whole socket, the whole pupil, I mean. What we see is part of it because the eyelids are protecting it. So let me show you the wrong way and the right way, okay? So that you can do it the right way. So this, with the whole pupil showing, wrong way. Because if that was the way you really were, like this all the time, your eyes would be really vulnerable to getting injured or sunstruck. So we only see the two sides of the eyes like that, so of the pupil. So let me put mine in and you can put yours in. Again, I'm using this pen just so that you can see it, but you're using your pencil just really lightly because later on we can erase all our guidelines and have a real portrait. Now you want to color in those pupils. Some of you have really dark eyes, some light, so do accordingly. But what you should do to make them really look alive is leave a little light part in the center, and that is the twinkle in your eye. So like that. Got that? Okay, now's a good time to put in the eyebrows, which is the hair that grows along the bony ridge of the eye sockets. So slightly above the eyes, like that. And again, some of us have really thick eyebrows, maybe like that. And some of us have really thin eyebrows. So look in your mirror and see what your eyebrows really look like. And then you want to draw them in just above that, on that ridge above the eye. So now it looks something like that. Okay, I'm also going to be showing you how to do some shading so that your face doesn't look like a flat paper cutout. So the next thing we want to figure out is where your nose fits into your skull. And again, here's where we have these beautiful symmetrical proportions. So if you go halfway between that eye line that we drew for the eyes and cut the bottom half again in half and draw a light line across, that's going to help us put the nose. Whoops, mine is kind of slanted. Let me fix that. Make it more straight across. Now here again, you can prove this to yourself. So if you put your finger, put your thumb on the outside of your eye and put your index finger on your nose, but please no digging in your nose. Okay? So if you put it on the nose and then swing that around, it should come out at the chin. Yeah, swing your thumb around, right? So that tells you that the bottom of your nose is halfway between your eyes and your chin. And what that bottom of your nose represents is where the openings are, the nares. So we're going to put those in like this. And again, you're going to look in the mirror because some of us have wide nostrils with large openings like that. And some of us have smaller with less of the opening showing, the nares showing like that. So you want to make yours look like you. And that's what the mirror is for. Like that. Now we can do a little preliminary shading to show kind of where the line of the nose is. So you can put very light shading. We'll talk more about shading later, but you can put some very light shading. I know mine looks dark because I'm using this pen, but yours should be light. Okay, that's where we are now. We've got the eyes and the nose. So continuing with the universal theme of symmetry, again, guess what? Halfway between the nose and the bottom of the chin, if you draw a line halfway across, that's the middle of your lips because it's equidistant. And again, we can prove it. This time, if you put your finger on your nose without digging in your nose, of course, and put it on the middle of your lips where your lips meet, and then turn that around, it should come out at your chin. So that's telling you that again, the lips are, everything is equidistant, symmetrical. Now that line that we just drew is where the lips meet. So you're going to look, and you can make that lip meeting line really dark. When you animate this, that's the part that's going to open and close, right? So again, you want to look in the mirror. Some of us have plumper lips or thicker lips, like that. And some of us have narrower lips. Mine are really narrow because I'm an old lady, that's why. So you want to look in the mirror and see what your lips really look like. And what you're going to do is draw in your upper lip, and it probably has a little dip in the center. That's where there's a little channel beneath your nose. I'm assuming that's to catch the hana butters, but I don't know. And then you're going to draw the lower lip beneath that middle line. And here's where you want to make that middle line. I'm going to do it in black so you can really see it. Really dark. So when you animate this, that mouth will really move and open. Okay. How are we doing so far? Good. That looks great. Excellent. All right, you're on it. Okay, artists. Next thing we want to talk about is your hair. You can see, again, our kindergartner's picture really represents a small child's idea about your hair, which is that it's on top of your head. Well, it is, but it's not above your skull. It's not in the sky. Your hair is the covering. It's what's left over from the ape world of your fur. And it covers your skull to protect your head. So it's not going to go any higher than the top of the head that you drew. Now, some of us have, here, some of us have hair that comes down almost to our eyebrows like that. And some of us have hair that's really short on top, like that. But all of us have our hair covering our skull. So you're gonna look in your mirror, and some of us do have hair that sticks up a little bit. If you have a mohawk, you can have some of it sticking up like this, but also covering the skull. Only if you have that kind of haircut, which many of us don't, but some of us do. So I'm going to draw in my hair here with my black pen. And you can sketch it in with your pencil, because pretty soon we're going to talk about coloring this with your colored pencils. And you want to think about what your hair looks like on the sides, because let's talk about the ears for a moment. So the kindergartners got that right, only the ears are too small, because the ears are on the side of the head. So if you look in your mirror, for some of us, you see a lot of the ear. But some of us have hair covering most of the ear or all of it. And let's talk about the size of the ears. They're way bigger than the kindergartner imagined it. We have big ears, the better to hear everything with. So if you put your fingers on your ears, let's figure out the proportions of the ears relative to the rest of the face. If you put them on the top and bottom of your ears and then come straight across, I'm going to take my glasses off to do this. Come straight across, what do you see? Where do they come out? Keep that almost to your lips, right? Or at least to the bottom of your nose. That's how big our ears are. So we're going to draw our ears in. We're going to go from the eyes, let me get my brown pen again, from the middle of the eye to at least the bottom of the nose, like that, on both sides. Let's do that before we put in the rest of the hair, in case the hair is covering it. And if you look in the mirror at your wonderful big ears, you see that they have little tunnels and ridges in them, the better to catch those sound waves. So you can look at that and see what it looks like for you, and actually put those ridges in so that the ears look real. And when you've got that, you can go ahead and finish the hair. Now, my hair tucks behind my ears, and then I see it at below my ears as well. So you need to look in your mirror and see where your hair is actually growing and how much of the ear is showing. And you want to put, if you need to, you want to cover up those ears with hair, that's fine. We've got them in proportion. And now is a good time to talk about the size of your neck. Let you catch up with me. So here's another thing the kindergartners get wrong. They imagine necks as these skinny little things, or sometimes they leave them out altogether and have the shoulders come right out of the chin. But actually our necks are wide and strong to hold up our big heads with our big brains. So if you put your fingers under your ears and then come down, you'll see that it's only a little bit you have to go in to get your neck, to come to your neck. It's not like you're going like this and your neck is here, right under your chin. It's pretty much starts right below the ears and then goes in. So you want to get the bottom of your chin line and start the neck right kind of below the ears, indented a little bit, and then out to the shoulders. Nice strong neck. So now we've got the features of our face in proportion, in symmetry. Excellent. Super. You want to come out and finish those shoulders so that when you cut it out to animate it, you'll have that full form. Now is a good time to kind of darken the outline, including the hair, to guide where your scissors will be cutting. So I'm going to darken mine. Make sure I have filled that in, filled that hair in, and I have a good, strong, dark line all around my head and neck and shoulders. So I know where to cut for sure. You know what I just realized? I just realized that I had intended this to be the bottom, and I drew it, I started the other way. And the reason, what that proves to me is that it is really symmetrical. If I turn it upside down, I could have drawn it that way, the neck here. So turn your picture upside down, and it still looks symmetrical and in proportion. Yes, it does. Don't forget to make your ears big enough to really hear. Remember, you measured them and they go from your top of your eye socket to at least the bottom of your nose. Yeah, there you go. You've got it. So now let's talk about shading and coloring. You're going to get to do this with your colored pencils, and you can really take your time with it. So I'm going to use colored pens, which is going to look really strange, but just so that you can see it. So here's the thing that artists know about shading, or light and shadows. If you think about where the light is hitting anything that you're drawing, including your face, anything that's away from the light is going to be a little darker. It's going to be in shadow. So, and anything that's sticking out, like your nose, like your cheekbones, like your chin, is going to be a little bit lighter. So we're going to start by shading, and you're going to take a colored pencil and you're going to look and see which of your colored pencils most closely matches your skin tone. Some of us are darker, some of us are lighter, some of us are pinker, some of us are more, have a tan or yellowish tinge to our skin. So all skin colors are gorgeous. You just want to make sure you draw yours. So once you have your basic skin tone, I'm going to show you the right way and then an example of the wrong way. The right way to color in the skin tone, color in this face and not leave it paper white is to pretend that your pencil is actually massaging the face. So you want all the strokes to go the way the skin is growing and covering that skull. So starting above the eyes, the skin tone is, you're coloring it in this way. I'll show you the wrong way. So you don't want to color your skin tone like this. That's not the way your skin grows. And you can do it very lightly at first and then take your time later to fill it in. So here's the way your skin grows. It grows from the center out, wrapping around your skull. So it's rounded like that. Same on the other side. So let's start there and color in our foreheads up into our hairline by wrapping the skin around this bony skull, skin that protects us. And I realize this looks very strange, but it'll look good when you do it with your colored pencil. Then lightly, I'm gonna color in those eyelids because they are skin. And below the eyelids, again, the skin stretches from your nose out around your cheekbones to wrap around that skull and ears like that. Later you can fill it in, and we're gonna add shadows too. So for now, just lightly coloring in the skin by following the contours of the face. Wrapping that skin around that skull, around, with rounding strokes. Even your nose is sticking out, right? It's getting the light. So very lightly color your nose in with skin strokes that wrap around that nose, rounded like that, around those nostrils, rounded like that. Rounding strokes, because what you're coloring is not a flat surface. It's the skin that wraps around that skull. Same thing for the skin tone at the bottom. There's a little dip below the nose, and the skin stretches from there around and up this time, around those cheekbones. So your strokes will look like this. Rounding up around the cheekbones to the ears. You can do this lightly now. You're going to have lots of time after this class is finished to really work lovingly and patiently on your self-portrait and fill it in. I did with mine. Yes, I can see this, that you made the strokes rounding around the bones. Same thing with below the lip. There's a dip, and then your chin comes out like this. So you want to make rounded strokes around the chin. And up to the bottom of the chin. I'm just going to darken my chin line here to delineate it. There's a shadow there. And I'm going to show you the shape of the strokes for the neck. So again, your spinal cord comes all the way up your back, up your neck, to your skull, connecting to your beautiful brain. So we got to wrap that skin around to protect it from the sides. We want to make these kinds of strokes show that that is a rounded shape, not flat. You don't have to worry about the shoulders because you're going to probably put a t-shirt collar on there, and then you can color your clothing whatever color. So those are the basic strokes. Now I'm going to show you how to do the shadows. Take another color gel. It's going to look really funny, but it'll look good in your colored pencils. Remember, you be able to go back and carefully fill in the skin tone so it's solid, wrapping around the skull and not having big tears or puka in it, as it's protecting us. So now the shadows. So like we said, what we know is that what is away from the light, further back from the light, is going to be in shade. So that's where we're going to add some strokes with maybe a darker color. You can either use a darker color or press harder on your pencil so that that shows, but right around the nose. I'm putting it in with a gray tone. Around the nose, there's shadows because the nose is the most prominent feature of the face that is getting the light on it. So you can shade around your nose like that. The next part is under the eyebrows and under the bottom of the eyelid, going to the nose. So you can shade that in a little bit. And now it's starting to look three-dimensional instead of flat. So under the eyebrows, using that same skin tone, or just pressing harder with that same skin tone, or a slightly darker one. I'm going to now make my eyebrows really dark so that they stand out from the shadows. My God, I look like a ghoul in this picture, but I look like a real ghoul, not a cartoon ghoul. Okay, another shadow. I'm going to darken the openings in my nose. Those are dark. I'm going to darken, put in some shadow in that little dip below the lips. Let's talk about the lips for a minute. I'm going to color my lips in a slightly different color because our lips are generally have a little more blood flow to them, and they're a slightly different color, even without lipstick. So let me show you how to color in the lips. I'm going to use pink. You can use a color that matches your lip tone by looking in the mirror. The way to color the lips, again, is the way they grow. So you can outline the top and bottom so we know where we are. And we're going to color them in with that shape. And then we're going to put in some shading. So you notice if you look in the mirror that the top lip is usually darker than the bottom lip because it's set back. The bottom lip is a little closer to the light. So I'm going to shade my top lip to be a little darker. And I'm going to shade just the bottom of my lower lip to make it more three-dimensional. Okay, where else might I want to put some shading in? Well, it turns out that those lines we drew, those guiding lines, if we didn't erase them, really tell us where the bones of the skull are, and we can follow those to put some shadows under them. So the one that we have for the nose tells us where to put the cheekbone shadows. Again, using rounded strokes because this is skin that is wrapped around a solid. Similarly, at the side of the head, by the ears, where we had our other guideline, another place where we have shadows. And again, above the eyes, that forehead, we want to put some shading in with rounded strokes. Again, to make it clear that this is a three-dimensional rounded shape and not a flat pie moon face like we thought in kindergarten. Same thing with the chin. There's a dark shadow under the lip and around the bottom of the chin because our chins are prominent, not quite as much as the nose, but kind of like that. So we're going to leave those light and put shadows around it so that by contrast, that chin will be sticking out, kind of, like it is in reality. When you have time, and you will have time, you can go back and fill in the hair. Some of it is curly. If you have curly hair, you want to, I'm going to pretend I'm going to add curly hair to my picture so you can see how to do it. Let's say my hair is curly like this. So one thing I want to be sure to do is if I draw in the curls, add the curls, I want to be sure I have an outline, a dark outline solid where I'm going to cut it. So when I cut it out, my curls are included and it's easy to see. So let me turn one side of my hair into the curls I wish I had and show you how you can do that. If you have curly hair like this girl, now I'm going to fill that in and do a clear outline of it so that when I cut it out, I'm going to cut it out around the curls. I can even have my curls, if I have long hair, I can have my curls go down into my, across my clothing. Yes, awesome. You guys are doing a great job. And it really looks like you. Don't forget there are shadows under the eyes too. And what those shadows are about is the depth of your eye socket that protects your precious eyes. So don't forget to put those in. As a last thing, some of us wear glasses like me, and you can see I put them in my portrait too, but they're the last thing I put in, and I don't want them to cover up my eyes. My glasses don't cover up my eyes, or else I wouldn't be able to see it all. They go around my eyes. So if you're wearing glasses, they most likely come right below your eyebrows. And some of you have oval shaped glasses, some round, so you want to look and see what you have. But make sure they're going around the eye sitting on the nose, like that. And then the side parts would slant upwards because they're going around your ears. So if you have glasses, you can put them in last, but make sure that you don't have them go across the eyes, interfere with the eyes. And again, you can follow the shape. I hope you'll have a lot of time to patiently and carefully take the time to color in your skin tone so that it's solid, not streaky like this, so that it's more real like this. And when you are finished, I hope you'll have a chance to reflect on this drawing experience and on your finished self-portrait, and maybe even talk to your classmates and teacher about it. And ask yourself, what did you find surprising about this experience? Is there something new that you know now that you didn't know when we started? What do you want to remember about this that'll help you understand other things you're learning? What do you want to think about or remember about the process of learning how to draw this self-portrait that will help you learn other things? And what do you want to remember that will help you understand something about yourself, maybe, or about other people as you continue your life learning? It's been really fun to do this with you. And I look forward to seeing your wonderful self-portraits. Thank you.